All right, welcome everybody. I think we're ready to roll. I see Mark
Yeah,
Midland,
let's do it.
Keeneland, pick four.
Pick four time.
Oh,
Is it? Yes. I
yes,
think
it
pick
is.
four.
I just played it before we came on. That's how I knew.
All right. Yeah, we got a nice little 2-year-old race to kick it off. That makes it a little challenging.
We do.
Yeah, before we start, thanks everybody for joining us, and we're sponsored by AmWager today, making this possible. And if you don't have an AmWager account, jump on there. There's a free $150 bonus, and no reason not to grab that and find out about all the great tools we're going to talk about today.
That's right. Yeah, $150 bonus. So, whoop.
Did you have any? Who are you using in this 2-year-old race?
I was actually pleasantly, well, I'd say pleasantly surprised. I guess it used to be if you had some prices, you could get excited about it, but sometimes you wonder if the computers are smarter than you, which they usually are. But all that said, I have 2-6-11 here. The deuce at 13-1. I just kind of thought that surely these aren't 2-year-olds though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking, maidens, first timers.
Yeah, and none of the firsters quite caught my eye. Didn't fare well on our ratings either. Although the one that was the highest rated is a bomb. But yeah, I like the two in here. I thought just kind of fit, and I've written a lot through the meet, and it's held up. But inside posts are doing well, so kind of advantage there. And 13-1, I'm definitely going to take my shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I mean, when I wrote down, looked at this race last night, my first thing I wrote down was 11-2. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, 11, 4-1, and I mean, I used an equal strength. I didn't really press any 2-6 or 11, but I had the 11 lower, just figuring on price. But I mean, really, once they're in the gate, they're in equal strength. So I'm still going to cheer for the bigger price, I guess. But
all right, so where are we going wrong? Where's the action going that we're not? The
let's
9
see,
and
betting the 9. Who, I mean, I get it, but I mean, this is one of those races where I really I've tried through the years. Like I realize it's competitive. You just have to be willing to gamble sometimes and get beat. But the 7 is the favorite in the double pool. Currently 5-2. Could see that one being around there. Little Breezy is the 9. Those are the two they're betting that I would just have to say if they beat me, that's the way it goes.
I mean, I think the way I'm looking at it is the 11's the fastest out of the gate, and the 2's maybe right there, but fastest in the middle of the race. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they both have an advantage over the favorites here.
Yeah, and but I pulled up my Keeneland right up because I forgot. I only usually do a sentence or two, not to be too verbose. So limited to something that caught my eye, and I mean, I guess maybe it explains why they're not betting the 2. People turned off by the maiden claiming first out, but I'm primarily a numbers person, so if they fit, like it's kind of the scenario I like, where there's a reason people would be turned off, um, where the number says they shouldn't be. So
Yeah, that's fair. Um, hmm. Okay. Yeah. So the question is how to play it. 13-1. I imagine you're just going to win, huh?
well, I mean, I did start the pick 4, but
Yeah.
yeah, it at that price, and liking the 6 and 11, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to look at a try key box, something like that, where if the 2 runs in the number with the 6 or 11, I want to have it.
What's the play on the 6? just I guess he just fits. Right?
Yeah, it just fits, and predictive form, something I like looking at, but pace wise, just look like it may look like he might be able to move forward here.
Yeah, for sure. I
But
think
yeah, it was tough. I mean, like I said, it's competitive. It's not like, oh man, I can't wait to only use these three. I just feel like at the prices, and I definitely wanted to go deeper in the next race. Pretty competitive turf race, so took my stand with these three.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning my lesson. I'm doing better in the verticals, so I'm trying to play more of the single race stuff and doubles.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to play a trifecta here with the 211 on top, throwing in the 6, 7, 8, 9 in second and third, trying to get a price going. On 11's dropping a lot.
The other thing on the I didn't have had the names in front of me, realizing now, remembering back, not that I would have mentioned it as a highlight, but both the 2 and the 6, I mean, it's pretty rare you're landing on Sammy Bermudez and David Cohen at Keeneland. So I just kind of feel like another instance, with the 2 having the claimer to open maiden, Passage East, David Cohen from the Mid-Atlantic, Hugh McMahon. These are just kind of situations in horsemen that isn't ever going to take money at Keeneland.
Yeah. So you're thinking, okay, yeah. So you're thinking that's a benefit. Hey, we're taking some money with a no-name.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you I think David Cohen or Sammy Bermudez it's not, I mean, they're not Arad or even Beschizza maybe, but, at this race,
right,
and they don't need to be, like, if they're on the best horse or close to it, they're fine. It's not
right.
I'm not downgrading.
Yep.
But they're going in the gate now. But consideration too is depending on what you think of the last 2 legs, kind of dictates what you can do in the first 2. I'm heavy on Tarifa. I think she's the best in that group. And then there's a Shug horse in the last. Probably the best talent wise, but with the layoff, maybe you can beat him at a short price. Him being Shug. So
okay,
that was another reason I wanted to be narrow here. I'm hoping to have some options in the last leg.
Yeah, I like it,
especially since I'm already out of the turf pick 3.
Yeah, that was a frustrating one. Like I said, I wasn't looking at the turf pick 3 today, and I instead was. Let me see if I'm going to try to switch to Amwager here. Okay, here we go. There's my Amwager. Let's look at the true odds here. Yeah, true odds. I need to juice my account. True odds 3-1 and 320. So basically, the 7 and the 11.
7 and 11.
We'll talk about the turf in a second. So good luck, everybody, here in race 7.
Racing.
Yeah, they're off. And the 7's on the lead, or the 3's with the 7?
7 is on the lead. No, the 3 is.
Yeah. 3.
Chicklets are a little off.
This 3 was a big sire move from the 1,000 words are not really good turf sprinters coming back to the dirt, but he had already had dirt form that was kind of out there for everybody to see.
6 needs a seam.
This is the 11 on the outside. Delani.
Need the 7 to go away, and at least I'll advance.
6 is looking good, though.
Yeah, that was I kind of threw some shade at David, but he made the right move to duck a bit inside. If he had gone outside, I don't think he wins. I wish I had picked that horse on top, but I can't say that. I went 2-6 in the Keeneland site, but at 12-1, I would have. I stand by that.
Yeah, that was a great price.
I mean, he wasn't good enough, but whatever. Like he, yeah, right there. Which maybe it benefited him. The 8 was backing up, so David really couldn't go outside. But he made the choice when he had to make the choice. I think if he had waited any longer, tried to go outside, he wouldn't have got there. So
Who are you talking about?
the ride on the winner,
Oh, okay. Was it Corrales or
Cohen.
no? It's updated to Gerardo.
Oh, okay. Well, he's no, yeah, there it is. GC.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Well, Corrales came into, was it yesterday or the day before? He hadn't won yet at the meet, and I think he's won 3 or 4 this week. So
He's a really good rider. I think. I mean, he's shown at Turfway over and over, and other tracks as well. I think he's underrated. But
well, what's the impact say?
well, I mean, if you're talking about 2 weeks in this meet,
Well, yeah, no, it's
I can run it in lifetime.
yeah, I never have any issue playing him when I see him. Certainly wouldn't have here if I was fine with Cohen. I would have been fine with Corrales.
Yeah. I'm trying to show that win chart, but our heads are in the way.
Oh, take our heads. Well, I don't know if that works.
How do we do that? You can see
over here.
What's that?
I know I can move our heads, but I don't want it to like make me bigger.
Well, the win chart does show that the 6.
Here we go.
Yeah, so you can see that drop.
Oh wow!
On the 6 there.
Yeah.
So he was well intended, as well as who was that? I can't quite tell. The 7 came down. The 9 went up. And whatever that is. Wait, I think that's the 11. The 6, 7, 11 came down quite a bit. And look at these guys just all floated into no man's land.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they're sharp. Look at the odds there. So I'll flip back to the video, but 7-2, 3-1, 5-2. That's
yeah. Those were all 4. My third choice on the 6. There are worse ways to start a pick 4.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that was kind of a spread race, and so my frustration on the turf, pick 3, I didn't play today because I don't know. I looked at last night, and Big Invasion was in the sprint, and I know he scratched, but I got busy doing other things. But I played that first turf race, and the winner, Boss Lady Bailey, I did use on top, so I was frustrated. Then I was playing my tries and supers and missed, and then I was like, that was the one to start the turf pick 3 with.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw yesterday, a bomb and 2 chalks, and paid great. So
yeah, you did great. That was a nice turf pick 3 yesterday that you had.
You'd already be launched. So we already got some Derby chatter going.
All right, let's bring it on.
Yeah. Brian Garrett mentioning my fair odds on Final Gambit. He must not have seen the update. Now that we're down to 20 horses, or we're not down to 20, but now that we are at the point where we're looking at who's actually going to be in the field, he is down a little bit because the line used to I was including all of the horses pointing for the race. Okay. And just as we came on air, Mark, you might not even know this, but David Grenning reporting that Madacat Road is going to the Pat Day Mile.
Just saw that.
Now the next horse in is Built, and I saw their chances is very similar. So this is still pretty much accurate. I mean, I think Built I might have around the 120s, so a little more likely. But this is pretty accurate outside of Madaket Road. So I talked about today, got some, I've seen some buzz going on Final Gambit, which is great. Love people talking about the Ruby winner. I'm a little nervous. It's getting into wise guy territory. Chalkbuster, fat bald guy, really anyone who has a nickname that starts talking about a dirty horse. I think that's when you could get a little nervous about maybe them being an underlay. But I love the group. Like there's a lot of directions here this year.
Oh yeah, this is a great race that's shaping up, and it's a deep field, and yeah. I was gonna say, why don't you leave that graphic up so people can see the odds as we're talking about it. I was just looking at the PPs, but I mean, you can make a good case for probably half the field, right?
Yeah, I mean, and one exercise I like to do on a personal level, and I've seen some people do it with actual content as well. It's like go through each horse and how can they win, and really other than, Owen Almighty would be probably the one horse from this whole group. I just can't see the path to winning, only because there's other front runners, and either he's on the lead or if he tries to chase, I just don't. I don't see what could happen where he gets a loose enough lead where he goes gate to wire, especially being by Practical Joke. So
he's your 194 to 1, but other than that,
even at 194, I guess I'm saying there's some chance. And people throw Rich Strike out. I get it, but we all know Shuddy said, hey, don't dismiss him if he gets in. He liked him a little more than I did. I barely liked him, but my fair odds were like 85 or 90 to 1. So like there's a big difference between that and 200. So I digress, but really any of these I can make a case for except Owen Almighty.
Right. All right. So actually, you know what? Let's switch to the PPs. I've got them here.
All right. Yep. Pull them up.
No, wrong one. Let's see. There we go. There we go. So we'll start at the top. Rodriguez, Sovereignty and Journalism. So the thing that stuck out to me I wanted to ask you about is, as you're scanning these, not that I'm not necessarily, the buyer figures aren't my go-to first, but they're certainly good numbers. Journalism, the 108 just towers above this field.
Yeah.
But then he also backs off into a 102. Yeah, there was some trouble. I don't know. Do you have any concerns? I have a little bit of concern that was a big number to run off a layoff, and then he's sort of starting to tail off a little.
Yeah, not only a big number, but a big jump.
Right.
You see what he was running, and one of those was a grade 1 win, so there was class there. But yeah, when the Ragozin is pretty similar. He got an awesome number in the San Felipe, and it was so good. It wasn't as if I were expecting him to run back to it, or even maybe want to if he's your Derby horse. But it was a bigger step back than I would have liked. On Ragozin.
What was the step back on the sheets?
He went from a 5, I think 5 1/4 maybe, to 9 1/4.
Okay.
So if he had gone to 6 and change, 7, I'd say all right, like that's expected. He can get back to the 5, but to rebound that much, and I do think a lot of not a lot. I do think a few of the horses in this field are on really healthy move forward patterns that can get to where Journalism was in the San Felipe. So now Journalism has to get back to that too. He's earned being the favorite, and as I noted in my Fair Odds article, as of right now, he's one of the 3. I'm eager to see him here at Churchill, what people say, etc. But I think he's just going to be too low for me to get excited about as a top pick.
All right. What are some of anything else pop out with you and some of these others you want to talk about?
Sovereignty. People keep talking about Sandman enough that I'm hoping Sovereignty is a decent enough price. My concern on Sandman is and I always hate to criticize a win, but at the same time, like he's supposed to win that race. Like, given his style, the way it played out, Cornucopian was, definitely not battling for the lead at any point in the stretch. Like, that's Sandman's race to win, and he did. But it wasn't like it was in San Felipe time. It wasn't that type of effort. And I know, people, well, for a closer, they're compromised sometimes with the numbers. That was a fast enough pace. Like, if he had been in touch and then drew off and blew the doors off the field, he would have gotten a great number. And he didn't do that, but between his sort of pattern of running, like the diagonal and zigzagging, and that just kind of was the perfect trip for him. And I don't want to bet him getting that again in Louisville. To me, head to head, I greatly prefer Sovereignty, and I think they're going to be similar prices. So that gets me excited that Sovereignty is maybe worth a bet.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. I think Sandman's a really nice horse, but I think that win was a little bit dressed up, and or like you said, everything went perfect for him, and he's got a number that he's going to have to improve from. So that's the challenge. Any outsiders that you're liking?
With the chatter on Final Gambit, sort of similar to the Sovereignty Sandman discussion, I was kind of thinking about, okay, who's going to be a similar price, similar style, and Chunk of Gold, in my mind, and this sort of speaks to the moving forward as well. Like, I love what we've seen from his two. He chased Asmussen home basically in both of the Louisiana preps. Magnitude was probably never going to be caught. That was the type of race that Bellamy Road-esque. But Tistastic, he was closer to him. Kind of got out sprinted to the wire, but he's going in the right direction. And I think I've mentioned this to you. With a horse like Rich Strike, again, huge long shot. Not by any means saying, oh, how is he not 15-1? What did we miss? He was a long shot for a reason, but he was moving forward. Like, there was positives to his form cycle, and Chunk of Gold to me is sort of in that similar vein. Final Gambit had a big jump forward in the Ruby Stakes. That was his best performance by far. Whereas Chunk of Gold has developed, steady progress. And can he win the Derby? That would take a total collapse. That would take a Rich Strike-esque stretch run against two horses who were just done after mid-pack chasing fast paces. But I think Chunk of Gold can be your you're looking at Lee, your Golden Soul. He's just going to keep running, and Jareth had success a couple years ago, and at 40-1, I would say. Long shot, Tri-Key, he's the one I'm excited, man, if I can get this horse third with Grande and Sovereignty, let's say. That's going to be a nice trifecta.
Yeah, and I agree with all that. And, as we've seen over the years, like you're saying, the Louisiana Derby's produced a lot of prices, and that's been great. But I think, and you've also heard me say this, is look at the difference. So let's go back to Tistastic. Look at this setup where, in his last two, he's way back, right? 7th by 8 in the Louisiana Derby, 9th by 9. They went really fast in the Louisiana Derby, and for the most part, Tistastic came from way back. Instant Replay in third, he came from way back, and for the most part, I think the top 3 or 4 horses that were slinging out in the lead finished nowhere. And so this is sort of the Sandman race. Like he's supposed to win that race, right?
Right.
He was in a good spot. Not that he was one of the favorites who's 7-1, but he ran a good race, but he was supposed to do that. Look at Chunk of Gold in that same field as they're going hot. I mean, 46-4 for a mile and 3/16, and this I think C is closing track. They're saying here in the form. Was really right in that first pocket, 5th by 3, 5th by 2, 5th by 2. So he's taking the brunt of that pace. And like you said, he gets past in the stretch. Maybe he just doesn't have quite as much. So Jareth probably had him a little too close. And so to me, that's the hidden form. And like you said, there's development. And even though here, like he's getting 92, I guess what I'm saying is this 92 was a disadvantaged pace race, or however you want to say it, against the pace. So if he was in a better spot in the race and the pace wasn't against him, maybe that's a 97 or 96, and so you've got that progression that's continuing upward.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I would not expect him to be that close in the Kentucky Derby, just because he doesn't have to be. And I mean, looking back to the Louisiana Derby, Jareth probably made in his head with instant replay in there, and I forget who was 4th, but that was an okay horse, and Built, of course, was in there as well. I mean, I could see where Jareth was thinking, well, this time I don't want him to get away from me like they did in the Risen Star, and it didn't work out. He ended up being an even second, and the deep closer is who won. But given what we knew going into the race, I get the strategy, and the horse hung tough with a sort of different style. So
yeah,
that's a great point. That only encourages me more now about the horse.
Yeah, I mean, to put it, I've got it over here at a chart, not to get into the weeds on a chart, but like John Hancock led and he finished 4th. So Chunk of Gold finished about 4 lengths in front of him. Built started 4th and finished 5th. So he kind of ran that even race where Chunk of Gold was able to progress from pretty much the same spot as Built. The horses that were 2nd and 3rd, Yinzer and Furio, were up the track. And Caldera was 6th early. He was up the track. So there were both closers that weren't able to do much. And the early horses kind of all wilted. So I thought he ran the best race in there. I think Jareth just, he broke from the 2-hole, and I think he just kind of got him in a good spot and rhythm. And before you know it, he was, a little closer to the pace than maybe you would have expected. But they're developing. Everybody's learning from every race. So so he's one that's really interesting.
And just to put a bow on Louisiana Derby, we'll, maybe get some sense of the class. They were also rans, but Instant Replay and Caldera are both running in the Bathhouse Row this Saturday, which if you pop on Horse Racing Nation, we have a tab from Super Screener that we pulled out of this week's edition. So for more on that Preakness prep, check that out. But as important, or at least, from a Derby perspective, definitely curious to see how those horses come out of the Louisiana Derby.
Yeah, for sure. And let me switch to that for a second. Talking about the Kentucky Derby Super Screener. We still have time here.
I got a few minutes.
How many minutes?
10 to the next race, which, I mean, leave some time to talk about it, but
so here's the projected pace in the Kentucky Derby Super Screener, and Mike Shetty does an awesome job with this, and it's just I consider it an invaluable tool to play the Derby. But here, one of the things in there, he's breaking out the pace as it stands right now, and I would say that this is a better pace than recent years with East Avenue. American Promise helps a lot. Now this has got Built and River Tom, so obviously he's going to come out. But you've got enough pace influence here that can kind of help things. But there's,
and not just like front end gas pace. There's definitely a second flight that, or I would expect a second flight is going to be crowded as well.
yeah, absolutely. So anyway, the Kentucky Derby Super Screener is just amazing tool, and just pop to this. There's the cover screen, but it's available at picks.horseracingNation.com, and it's helped me on a lot of big Derby scores. And I was doing Ron's podcast yesterday. We were just talking about it, and I was like, from when Rich Strike 2 years in a row, actually. So 2 years in a row, we actually how do I want to put it? We sent out an email to all the readers saying add Rich Strike, and then the next year when Forte scratched, we said we already had Mage in there, but we said just add Mage to everything, and and it was so weird with Rich Strike the way that went down, right? Because that was the first time an A had ever drawn in.
Right.
It was kind of last minute. It was kind of like this nobody horse, but Mike's like, this is a closer. He's got a shot. He's getting back to dirt, and and so we just sent out a brief email saying like, you need to add him. And of course, I added him at third and fourth, but nothing to win.
Yeah, you needed the Scully magic.
Yeah, the Scully super play. So, all right, so let's go to the 8th here and start talking about
yeah. And as you pull that up, I did see the chat. I don't know how we ended up at 7-5. I kept seeing the odds for journalism go down as people were talking about it. I mean, there's no chance he's going to be 7-5 unless they're just a number of scratches, with several of them being key scratches. I think, I know a couple weeks ago you asked, and I said 5-2. I'm actually starting to think maybe more 3-1 at this point. Like, there's just people aren't off Sovereignty or Tappan Street or Sandman. Like, those are three very clear alternatives. Rodriguez, Grande, like the Wood Memorial might have its comeback this year. So there's just too much alternative, and not that any of those are going to vie for favoritism. I think journalism is comfortable in that, but I think there's enough chatter about sort of the second and third tier horses that I just can't see journalism being less than 3-1.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not 7-5 by any means. I still think 5-2 is a possibility, but may depend on
if he draws well, and let's say,
right,
Sandman and Sovereignty are closers, so I don't know how much the draw would kill them. Maybe the 20 people wouldn't be thrilled with, so maybe they go to journalism then. Obviously, Rodriguez with the 1 or 20 might deter some dollars, but yeah, I think 3-1. If I were Mike Battaglia, that's kind of where I would be zeroing in on as a morning line favorite.
If you were Mike Battaglia,
I
don't know if I want to think about that one.
Well, his sister is I don't know if she's still up there, but she used to wait tables at the clubhouse at River Downs, and she was great at it, but the food there was actually really good. I miss it.
All right. River Downs, yeah, the river. Take me to the river. All right, so here's let's take a look at the true odds. So we've got the 6 at 3-1. Amwager true odds are saying 2.9, so that's about right. The 5 7-2, but potentially coming down to closer to 3 according to the true odds. Anything pop out to you here in this group?
I mean, in this group, I took a shot on the Uno. Just kind of felt like that, last was a line through it type of situation. Pull up the PPs here.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with 23-1.
Right. Yeah, I thought the price was right. Yeah, the last, dirt sprint pulled up. He technically finished, it looks like, but eased. And you draw a line through that, like the numbers absolutely fit on most of the races. So, I don't know, you're getting rewarded, and it's probably the wrong word, but like you're getting I think I'm getting an overlay based on the last, because this horse has good races to run back to. And I looked at the workouts. I didn't watch them. It's not my thing, but just seeing the pattern, he didn't miss races after being or miss workouts after being eased. He was right back at it. Got the tune up off the van at Keeneland. I just think the price is too good. And then you throw in my favorite rider up, and how can I not?
Julian.
The
Okay.
Leopard
horse is winless turf sprinting.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the win? Is that?
Yeah, but he has numbers that win this.
No, I'm just teasing, playing devil's advocate. I mean, the race 3 back at Gulfstream, I think, is terrific, and that Gulfstream turf course, very much was favoring speed. So I like that race a lot.
Coppola and Arzak are both good horses.
Absolutely, yeah. No, either of them would be favored here. I just don't know about to win. I could see Kingham as one of my super trifecta keys. But what did you think of the 13?
I didn't hate, especially drawing in. I feel like sometimes you get a bonus for that. Ultimately, did not use, which I'm 5 deep, so I would say he probably makes me the most nervous. But I just kind of ultimately thought layoff, outside post, even with the boost of drawing in, which especially in Maltese, sometimes you get an overlaid price versus what they'll be in the win pool.
Yeah,
he was the last cut. So.
Okay. And I mean, what about Santorini? I mean, his numbers were great in the last couple over the synthetic, granted synthetic routes, but a twirling candy, should have no problem turning back.
Yeah, the cutback and Pratt getting aboard certainly caught my eye. Pace wise, I think from out there you have to go, but on the Brisnet numbers, his what he's capable of running early isn't overexerting. So probably there should be some company with him, but should be in the clear. I mean, he'll certainly outbreak. I would think double clutch, although off the layoff maybe he's fresh, but if it's a clean break, I think he can make some noise.
Okay, and who are your 5?
1, 5, 6, 11, 12.
Okay, I can't argue with that. I think I might play your 1 though for the super to hit 3rd or 4th. If that's all right.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, there's some speed in here, so I mean, even running late could be underneath. The price is just too. I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, I think people want to go
on board to boot like that. I just don't see him as being the least likely winner.
Right. No, I hear you.
Oh.
No.
And he's frisky.
He is frisky. That's all right, though. There you go. Frisky is okay.
Yeah, he's ready to run. Oh.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody, in the 8th as we
to get your supers in.
Got my supers in. Yeah, no worries there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Yeah, the 13 I like a little bit, but with Rusty off the layoff, it seems like that's not necessarily his thing. Looking at the odds here, yeah, 5-6 kind of came down. Just like we're saying, all right, well, good luck, everybody. 6 clears, but Doncho's on his tail. So now he's not clear.
Yeah, I thought that the 12 would be a little closer, but
I thought off of routes. Yes, I thought he'd be closer, but I didn't think he'd.
Yeah, off the routes is a good point, though. And
yeah, I didn't think he'd be in the top 3 or 4. 11 looks like he's in good shape. Kind of got.
Yeah, I mean the jockey certainly thinks he has horse.
Mm-hmm. Where's your 1? Your 1's in last.
1's, yeah, he kind of broke, not great, and.
All right, so you need this 11 to go by.
Yeah, feel pretty good. I'm in advance, but it is going to be the favorite. It looks like. Well, he's a little off the 3. Yeah, we're good.
Oh wow, this 3 ran second, huh? He couldn't decide if he was in or out of form, but yeah, 11-1, and he had back class. All right, fit here on some priors. All right, 3-1, nothing
live.
Too exciting. Yeah, the Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, obviously got some 44 flat. I mean, there's not much to say. A, he was probably best anyway, but B, stayed out of trouble. Not as strong as path as they would say, but I'd say the 11's one where he probably would question whether this is his class. I mean, the 6 stuck around enough where, and it's a turf sprint and they went fast, but he really backed out of it after it looked like he was in, like you said, he was in a great spot.
Yeah.
And just never even passed the 6.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, like the 5 and the 6 were, proven turf sprinters, and the 5 was kind of probably always the most likely winner. I mean, really from that perspective, 3-1's not bad if you liked him.
No, absolutely. I did not like him enough where I would tell you 5-1 would ever have been a price I considered.
All right. Fair enough.
Well, Keeneland grad, though.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
We got some stakes action coming up.
Yeah.
The double dog dare. It's I mean, I would think a few of these normally would have maybe waited for the La Troyenne, but I guess the specter of the horse of the year showing up there.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah, the 3 ran really well. Clear the air. Rosario, yeah. William Walden.
I mean, the race had a right to have plenty of closers coming, and I guess super late they finally were, but he was the only one that got in the picture.
Yeah. So that's another one where, turf pick 3, like you said, price and now chalk still could lead to a pretty healthy payout. Well, yesterday, what was it, 25-1 or something like that with 2 favorites, and it paid $1,500.
Yep. Yeah, 25-1, and then 2-1, and I think 8-5, 7-5. So yeah, I'd say we're looking pretty similar. This race was much more spread than the Tucson race. So,
Yeah.
oh, look at that guy, number 1. See him?
No. In there somewhere.
Number 1.
That's a nice win, though. Nothing wrong with a nice win at Keeneland.
No, I have not had the pleasure.
Yeah, me neither.
Churchill, though, right?
Yeah, we won a race at Churchill. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving Day, no less.
Oh. Look at that crowd, man. What a day.
Yeah, nice day for it.
I dialed this up for Derby Day.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, what do we got here in Kentucky? We got 79 and breezy. Not bad.
That's it.
All right. Well, good luck congrats if you were on the 5 there as we wait for payouts. Let's see what else we got. So Santa Anita's back today, and that's exciting. And
Yeah.
we're doing the morning line for Santa Anita, and that's been fun to do. And I know you've been kind of doing the line share of that. You've done a great job on it. And Coast to Coast is back starting today and back this weekend.
Yeah, great bet. Similar vein to the pick threes that we've seen. 5 races though, so instead of the $3 min, it's $1. But no CRW, 15% takeout, and just the format with the 2 tracks and non-sequential races. I just think that's where you want to be if you're a retail player and you have the capital for that type of pick 5, because not always cheap. It's okay to pass, but I think and today just preparing for this and with Derby time, didn't look at the coast to coast. But when I know I'm playing for a day and the signal is going to have my undivided attention anymore, I'm just looking at, okay, are there $3 pick threes? Is there a multi-track pick N? And that's my starting point, because the payouts are just better. And we've seen that with the stuff you've written. They're just better. Like the data is clear at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're fantastic. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
And I mean, while you're looking at that, I mean, I just think to that pick 3 yesterday, the turf pick 3, okay, $50 horse, but then 2, not only favorites, but obvious favorites. Like those would have been the singles if you were looking to lean, as one of them was for me. And I just think of a $50 horse and 2 $6 favorites in a 50-cent, races in order on track. I think that pays $150.
Did you do the math on the parlay, the payout versus parlay?
No, but I have a parlay calculator. So
there you go. So this is there's a lot of data here, but we've been tracking the coast to coast payoffs, kind of helping promote that. And the ones I've highlighted in bright green are where it's paying 2 or 3 times the parlay. And I think this winter, okay, these were my stats from 39 pools, 16 out of the 39, so 41% paid 3 times the parlay, which is pretty awesome.
Wow. And
59% of the time it paid double the parlay or more. So, and you can, there's a lot of data here, but it really only takes one payoff. Like these last 2 are a good example, if you can see them at the very bottom. But The averages were cut off there, but $13, $5.80, but one horse at $17.40, and then look at that, a 2 to 5 shot, a 2 to 1 shot, and it's paying 3.5 times the parlay. So basically, something that should have paid $600 is paying $2,000, and same kind of thing. The closing one, so that was Santa Anita Derby Day, and then the closing one, almost 5 times the parlay. So it should have paid what's that? It should have paid about $400, and it paid $2,000. And it's a 4 to 5. What's that? A 9 to 2, an even money, 1 9 to 1, not easy, and another even money. So it really pays well if you can get one price. And we've seen the payoffs on the pick three, the turf pick threes as well, that are excellent. And it really comes to, I think, skipping those races. The computers don't really focus on it, and so you kind of get that extra payoff, which is great. And the other thing too, just as an inside baseball thing you and I live with, is there's not really a good way to calculate the when they create these separate wagers in the ADW. It's like a new track, so there's no button we can push to say give me all the payouts for these turf pick threes or whatever. So that's why the coast to coast there's in a spreadsheet, and that's why there's not, it's kind of under the radar, I think. Right. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And yesterday the parlay, I just pulled it up and then lost
You're dialing it up for us, the math.
So the dollar parlay, so dollar win bet, was $173. Which means that the $3 parlay was $519.
Yep.
The pick three paid $1,500.
Yes, you're getting triple.
Yeah, triple, and I think so for 50 cents. That's 86, 87. So let's say you would have gotten a premium in the pick three because you had one sort of outlier. I mean, best case scenario, I think for 50 cents that pick three pays $150. Mm-hmm. Which is a $900 pick three, which would have been great. But I mean, so even in that situation, you're getting a 60% premium, because of the higher max, non-sequential, 15% takeout. So that's a fair rate. Big fields. It's great. And Santa Anita and Gulfstream both have the $3 pick three. And then Derby week, I would expect we'll see that they don't always do it with the turf, but 3-year-old races, or they match them up in various ways. So I'll definitely be looking for those Derby week as well.
Yeah, for sure. Great opportunities. Right, triples was good. Triples is best. All right, so let's talk about the double dog dare. Maybe we can get a Dutch double in.
There you go. Yeah,
that's Dutch. A good idea. How about that?
Well, I guess I should pull up the board so I could see if it actually is opportunity. I came into the day thinking Tarifa would be the opportunity, and currently she's 5-2, but the projected odds have her as the third choice in the 7-2 or 4-1 range. So she absolutely is going to be worth a bet. Now I have her singled and pressed, so I feel like maybe a win bet won't be necessary, but I think I'm on the right horse at the right price. So we'll see, but I loved her last. I thought it was the best of anything we've seen from this group. I think she has actually moved forward versus, the numbers I see from Just FYI, Candide, and Occult, the other three who figure to take money here. Mm-hmm. They're good. They are graded stakes fillies. They certainly belong in here, but they have not moved forward. They have not put up a number as fast as Tarifa. My only concern mark was not with Candide, who I figured would be an underlay, and as of right now is not, but she'll probably be 2-1 or 5-2. Just FYI, I'm a little concerned can steal it from the rail.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Just not enough speed.
Yeah, I mean, Time Form definitely has her out there, and they have the next one that would be the first to get to her is one of the long shots, which I always in my head just kind of think benefits a good filly or a good horse on the front end. If their first pursuer is going to be a horse with maybe less of a chance, I just kind of see that as more in their favor than if they're being pursued by the favorite. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Less pressure, less quality pressure. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, there you go. Quality pressure. QP.
QP. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that just FYI's really hasn't been on the lead until the last couple. And there's just a lot of smallish fields, but I see what you're saying. If there's no other pressure, then that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and I mean the rail's been great, so.
And we've got the short stretch.
Well, at least starting on the rail. I mean, I've definitely seen horses, win out in the middle of the track and break off, but I mean, just for whatever reason, the post. So maybe it's down the backside. That's a better part of the track, less tiring, first turn, whatever. The inside posts have been better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the thing too, though, just FYI, the last two races, and Junior Alvarado was up. She went in the Acorn Saratoga. She went pretty hard for the lead, and that worked out really poorly against Torpedo Anna. And then last time out, at Gulfstream in just an allowance race, going to the lead didn't work out either. So I don't know that Junior's going to be like gunning for it.
Well, you might just get it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could see Tarifa getting out there a little bit more, though.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, and that was, like you said, that was a really strong race and out of Santa Anita in the Beholder Mile.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at. And, this is a mile and the 16th, which is fine for her anyway. But, with the short stretch and the configuration at Keeneland, it's kind of not far off how they run a mile at Santa Anita.
Right. And then, I mean, what do you make of Candied? It seems like, I mean, I feel like she's getting bet coming in off of the Breeders' Cup race.
Yeah, I just kind of thought she'd be over bet and didn't. I mean, I singled, so I didn't use anyone else but Tarifa. But even like I wasn't lured by Candied, and I would say for me, I do like her better than Occult, which the odds will too. But again, for both of those, now we're talking about 4-year-old fillies. I just haven't seen improvement. Tarifa's the only one where you could say has moved forward. I could maybe see it with Just FYI today because I think she might be a little more aggressive from the rail, but Candied and Occult, to me it's sort of the numbers that win by default. If others don't show up, they're good enough. They're going to run their race. They're consistent, but to take a short price when even their best numbers aren't as good as what we saw Tarifa capable of last time, I'm out. Like I'm definitely going to be looking at the Dutching tool to see what the Exactas are paying with Candied and Occult out of the number completely.
Okay, yeah, just singling Tarifa in the double.
I mean,
or use something else in the Dutch.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see what the will pays are and such double wise, just with me being singled there already. Maybe it's a just FYI hedge if it's like, oh, those are good double prices. They feel overlaid, but I think in this race I'm more interested in the Exacta. I don't think that the 2, 3, or 4 hopeless to not be in the number.
Right. And that's what I love. It's like if you can get a price, there's there's a lot going on here, right? Candide and Occult are coming in off a layoff. First race of the year, and you've got 3 or 4 really good horses at the top slugging it out, but some of these others could definitely sneak in there. Occult's getting a lot of respect at 4-1.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Do
I
you?
mean, I think I do see it on paper. I'm trying to see how to see it in today's race, if that makes sense. I thought the idiomatic race on this track was really good, 2 back. She's 5 at the end of her 3-year-old season. Some of those races were, I guess, to your point, didn't improve that much last year. I mean, it really hinges on, really the spinster last, other than that, you could say she didn't improve. But I think there is a race flow problem here. Like you said, the 1 might inherit the lead. If the pace isn't much, I think it's going to be really tough on these closers, right? Because we got the short stretch. Our pace report has this race as a 31, which is pretty low.
Doesn't that support the thought that Junior might just go for it?
Might. Well, I mean, I think he's just going to try to grab the lead and sit chilly, right?
Yeah.
I think the bigger question is, like, is there someone to challenge? Does Flo maybe go out and just sit on just FYI's hip just to kind of keep her honest with Tarifa? The 4 Dreaming of Mo, Corey Lannery. Hard to say. I mean, doesn't necessarily scream speed, but has been on the lead on the turf and the synthetic. Went fast and showed speed, but sitting a close 3rd in the slop at Churchill. And that's really her only dirt race, since her 2-year-old season or 3-year-old season, but in a couple of years.
I gotta say, I'm surprised. These Exactas just throwing out Candide and Occult doesn't really do much for you.
You mean the 5-1?
Yeah, like 1 over 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2, 3, 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me share.
Yeah, throw them up.
You got that there?
I do.
All right. So, yeah, right now, if you see on the right-hand side, it tells you the ROI of the combo. So 263 is basically 5-2.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, you're taking a 2-1 and 5-2 and using them on top, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought, okay, the race has 42 Exacta combinations. These are 8 of them.
Right.
And I just kind of thought throwing Candide and Occult out, I was expecting a little more. So, like, this is 266, 1-5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just for, S and Gs, you can kind of see, okay, well, what if I played 1 and 5 on top? Or just to win, Dutching them to win, and it's 4-5.
Yeah, that's no good.
That's not great either. But I just kind of thought, okay, for an Exacta where you're throwing out the second and third choices, probably the favorite when all is said and done. I just kind of thought you'd get more than 5-2. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I can do here, because that's, I guess you really wanted to. I mean, you get 10-1 if you say, okay, well, one of the two will win, but then I need one of the other three in second, and that feels like a bigger gamble to me than 10-1.
Yeah. Okay, so I like where you're going, but my 2 cents would be, for second, I think that's a way too tall of an order for the 2 and the 3. Like we said, there's not that much pace in here. They haven't run any numbers anywhere. The 2 and the 3, I mean, I like those horses, but in this spot, they're dead closers that the 6 and the 7 are just better closers.
Yeah.
Right. The 6 and the 7, whatever you want to call it, are grade 2 type. Well, I guess it's a grade 3, but grade 1, grade 2 type closers, and the 2 and the 3 are, they can hit the board in these things. But anyway, so the 4 I think has more upside because, could sit in the clear right off could sit second. The pace could get slow. The only dirt race that's showing up anywhere on the PPs is the slop, so it's hard to say. Uncle Mo in the slop, but it won easy. I don't know. I think the 4 is what I'm trying to say is a little bit more unproven, and it does have some figures on the synthetic and the turf that get pretty close to competitive here.
Yeah.
Maybe not for a win, but I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is I can make an argument with the 4 running second, third, or fourth for sure.
Well, and I mean, in this case here, when I'm showing 11-1, basically on the 4 and second, you have to beat the 2 long shots on top. This actually kind of makes a little sense to me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price.
Yeah, and then for what I said about,
but I mean, it's not
beating the other 2, then you really have a price.
Right. What I would do is do that, and then put the 4 and third in the try and add the 6, 7.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
but again, as we I like talking about last week, like it even ends up, it's not a bet, or even if you're not knowing, like, okay, I'm not playing the Exacta here anyway, but this really gives you a sense for, how the money flows in certain combinations. And if you're a trifecta player, you can't see the will pays or this type of thing for tries. But, this to me clearly shows, like, wow, if you get the 4 in there, like that seems like he might be overlaid underneath.
Right.
It's only a 7-horse field, but if he's in the try, you're beating one of the top 4 choices.
Right. So, how about this one? Let me show my screen here, and I can't do the Dutching because it's not Dutch, but I guess I know the answer to this. But can you see mine, or it didn't work?
Yeah, I
think you have to stop screen sharing.
Yeah.
And then, okay. So,
how's my smile?
Good, but it's not showing the share.
Oh.
Let me try one more time.
There it is.
Okay. So kind of taking liberty, but with what you're saying, but we're kind of kicking around is, if you did a dollar super, basically making 2 calls on the race, 1 that the 5 wins, and 2 that the 4 hits the board, and then just figuring the 1, 6, 7 take up the other slots, So that's it's only $6 for each slot. So you could, this is the swap. So if you could swap the legs, you could swap third and fourth. And
swap the legs, like sweep the legs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Some say. There you go. Swap third and fourth. Swap second and third. So you could, for $6 a piece. Now the problem is, even with Tarifa winning, you pick up the second and third spot with the 4 and 4th. That's probably not going to pay a lot. I mean, you're going to need it. But I guess where I'm going is, third's probably a little more likely.
Right.
You could do that too, where you could say, okay, this one for him to run second, her to run second, I'm just going to go 50 cents. So it's $3. Swap her into third and say, well, that's really what I'm shooting for. Put $2 on that for $12. And then maybe for fourth, you just try to break even and give that back to like $1 or something like that. Spend the 18 that way.
18.
All right.
Okay.
We should probably talk about the double. I'll switch to the video. Who you got in the last here?
2, 3, 7, 10.
Okay. 2's the favorite. The 3's a big price. Yeah, 3 ran really well, 21.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like to get through here and have a shot at maybe some prices.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the 10 ran a really nice race on paper last time at Tampa. I thought it was a nice play, blinkers on. I guess you got to beat the shug. That's the game.
That's the game.
Yeah, that horse looks good. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat. That's the challenge. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on. The 4 and underneath. I'm thinking vertically here still.
So I think I'm actually going to play what I was just doing, but talking about, but taking Candied out of the second, so cutting out 2 more combinations.
To press others or just
to keep it the rest. So basically, the opinions are 5 wins, 4 hits the board, and then I'll have 1, 6, 7 can be second, third, and fourth, but I just won't use the 6 and second.
Okay.
Just trying to get tighter and tighter. I don't know.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, maybe the 5-4 Exacta isn't the worst play. That's kind of goes back to where we started.
Right. Yeah.
You don't need to do the Dutching tool if you can just see that that's $112 for $2. Wow.
Yeah, it can add up quick.
All right, maybe I'll do that. That's overthinking it, and then I can just back the 4 and third. I mean, it sort of goes to how does this race flow, right? And
right.
I think if the 4 goes with just FYI, then I think Florence Giroux and Tarifa can just sit back and wait and pass those 2 later. If no one goes with just FYI, I think Flo's going to have to get up there and press a little bit more. And that could lead to a faster pace or closers. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
See how that shakes out.
Yeah, I think my best case scenario will be 5-4-1.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, Tarifa for sure, the top pick. I didn't even get a look at the double Will Pays because so excited about getting the 4 in the number here.
Yeah, I mean that shot does look tough in the neck, so that's the
Right.
one thing that I don't know, kind of turned me off a little bit. All right. Good luck, everybody, in the double dog
Go
pick.
time.
What's that? Post time?
Yeah. Go time. Let's see, who's the chat like? John the Bomb. He's playing some 4. I'm getting the mix.
There we go. You can see it. There's the bets I teed up.
All right.
All right. We'll see what happens. A lot of it comes down to this start, doesn't it? And who, like you said, who's challenging the 1, if anyone? Tarifa doesn't break at all.
Nope.
And the 2 is going to go.
A call hung out 4 wide.
And the 2 doesn't go. I think sometimes these jocks have to be careful. I mean, that's Jose. He knows what he's doing. But, like, when he goes out and looks like he's engaging the speed early, then all the others back off, right?
Right.
So then it's like if you don't actually do your duty, that changes things a lot. So Tarifa's dead last, and we got the short stretch. So that's
she's keen. See when Flo asks her, hopefully not fighting her too much because that usually doesn't bode either. But
big early move by Occult here.
Yeah, there goes Tarifa.
Is done. And
wow, just FYI is really done.
And the 4
as is the 4.
Yeah.
As
any
is
chance?
Tarifa.
Any chance the 4 head went away when when just FYI just like stopped right in front of
her? I mean, that does not look good for just FYI. That's for sure.
No. All right, let's see if we can get Tarifa going and keep you alive here.
No,
otherwise,
I think really the over.
Wow. So Jose, I mean, I wasn't criticizing, but just went early and then sat second. I mean, this track's been front all meet, so why not, right?
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say.
Well, I mean, it's just these short fields. There's so many different ways that, it can go.
Someone like that. Hopefully you bet more than just 2 to show.
Yeah. Gin. But yeah, I mean, that's where this race was a little, we were kind of poking holes in just FYI, but yet just FYI could have been on the lead alone. Then you've got these other closers. I thought Tarifa made sense, but I don't know how honest of a race that was, and there was too much left to do.
Right. I mean, she made a move and then clearly flat, which she was still got the best of the others in the field, but yeah, too much to do and chasing a good jockey. And
I think that the best I could take from that is a hopefully not an expensive lesson, but for tomorrow and this weekend is that these routes speed is dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. Short stretch, especially.
Yep. All right. I got to take a break for a couple minutes. Can you hang on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. Well, the last is definitely going to be a get even race for yours truly. Out of everything, didn't give the deuce much credence there, but heady ride, and that's why they run them. Hopefully, just FYI is okay. Definitely didn't look good backing through the field like that. So hoping the best for the champ. But 38-1, and we did the big price in the turf race was start of the pick six. So I'm gonna guess we're gonna have a pick six carryover for Saturday. I'm not sure we had enough chaos otherwise to get a pick five carryover. The pick five started with a 4-horse field. Was the third choice, so 720 in there, but otherwise the pick five has been the pick five was formful up until this point. So I would guess even another bomb probably makes it tough to get a carryover, but we'll see. But the good thing about needing the 10th is the get out is that I like a big price in number 3 Candy Bar, who is a little bit of a layoff, but I kind of like this horse getting back out to a mile and a 16th. Now only has the one run at the distance, but it's an okay third. It was buying a runaway winner, but was just a length off a second. Ran well, had saved a lot of ground. Rail post position kind of just stuck there. Made a middle move and wasn't good enough to get to the winner, but steady diet of mile races, 7.5 furlongs at fairgrounds. It's kind of a funky distance there, on the turf, which is inside the main track. So I like Brett, first off a mini layoff, getting this one out to mile and a 16th, plenty of bottom from all the races last year. Definitely like the presence of Brian Hernandez Jr. So we're going to go for it. Won't take much to get it all back on Candy Bar, hopefully.
Candy Bar to win?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, now that I'm out, I mean, I gotta take a swing here on a horse I liked at a decent number. So I will.
You don't gotta, but yeah.
I mean, the horse isn't. It definitely has not run any race close to what Mystifying ran last year, but layoff and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
79-76. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So the turf pick 3 to Mystifying is paying $1,000 basically.
All right.
So there's your one price and 2 favorites on the turf pick 3 for a good payoff.
Yeah, $1,000 is. I wouldn't have turned it away. What do you got? Takis?
Well, Scooby Snack. Yeah, some big payoffs. So okay, Our AI line has mystifying going off at 6-5. The Amwager true odds have 2-1. And looks like on board is 5-2 right now.
Yeah, 5-2. Double and pick 3 odds are both over 2-1. So I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I thought she looked 2-1 off the last, but obviously with the layoff and other considerations.
Yeah, but you got that big bomber, $79 horse, so that kind of distorts things.
That's true. Good point.
I mean, the 6 and the 10 have a lot of action in the double, and
yeah, I missed the 6. I wouldn't have been live with that one. I guess.
Well, I mean, let's take a look at that. That's a lot of action on the 6. Racing and handicaps.
Yeah, I mean, I know people like the international and turf, and I mean, typically they are better. I don't know anything we're seeing from this one that makes me think she's going to come over here and be better even than allowance horses. But the kind of tea leaf reading for me, why I was comfortable leaving off, especially even as an international shipper, is was never in stakes. Not that these are stakes horses, but the synthetic effort at the end of the year, like, to me, that's the equivalent of dropping a horse in for a tag. Like, I guess they have some cellar races. Is that what they call them over there? But I mean, the purse was 14,000. I mean, it just seemed like what do we have here? And now shows up here taking money. I'm not going to use.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, the 14,000 was the same purse on the turf race before that, though.
No, the race before was 15,000.
What I'm looking at says 14 and 14.
What I'm looking at says 13.9 and 14.9. I rounded up.
Yeah, all right, we'll allow it.
Does shed some weight though. Was carrying 130 plus in several races out there, and now gets 118 in Lasix. So
yeah, I mean, those handicap races over there actually are pretty decent. It's like I don't know what you would call it, like a 75,000 claimer, or
yeah,
they're like, maybe, I don't know if that's exactly right, but it's a step below stakes and graded stakes, but they can still be pretty good races. Yeah, 137 is a lot to carry.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my guns on that one, especially taking some money. It's not gonna be for me. And as expected, everything uncovered in the pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
There's the turf pick 3, 988. So the interesting to me, which I guess the 2 here is going to be a bigger price than the winner of yesterday's nightcap. But I mean, I guess the winner of the first leg, maybe not, even though they were somewhat close in odds, 26-1 versus 21.
Mm-hmm.
The winner yesterday felt like even more of a outlier / separator.
No, I think that's why the difference for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, still 988's not too bad.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, if you can, especially if you were spreading with a couple you like there.
Right. I'm gonna hit the ATM before this one. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, so 18 minutes into the last. Seeing some talk on that 6. Saez jumps on from Brendan Walsh and, carrying the high weights. The challenge for me in this race, the 10's 5-2. Really like that 10. Thought he's come into the race really well. And but also 2 is certainly to be respected. Pull this back up. But that's going to really open up the rest of the field as far as potentially getting some prices. The 2 is extremely lightly raced with just the 2 dirt starts and then the 1 turf second. That was only made 3 starts at 3. And then Ed's talking about the 3 candy bar, which I definitely can see. Not necessarily about the win spot in this spot, but I think that, and we'll talk about it in a minute, I think that 3 is a horse that can be used. Other than that, at the top, it really all comes down to the 2, 10, and 6. But that just looks like a lot of smart money, maybe, on that 6 at 4-1. It's working really well. Has 7 turf works and then a synthetic work. I was working down on the turf at Palmettos. And let's see if I can pull the stats on Brendan Walsh as a overseas shipper here. Here we are. Shipping to the U.S. This is according to Briss, 38% with a plus 37 cent ROI, 48% in the money. So that's pretty strong. They're pretty well intended when they come over here. Got size up. They're obviously strong together. So then how do you split them? 2, 6, and 10? There you are. I was just talking about, so Brendan Walsh with these overseas shippers winning 38% with a positive ROI. It's pretty good.
That's good.
That's on his last 29, so that's not like exactly small data.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still leaning toward letting him beat me, but I guess with the 3 being 17-1, like if that's my key, you can kind of say, well, I trust the board here. Like, do you really want to lose if it's 6-3? Probably not.
Exactly. No, you do not. I'll answer that for you. Absolutely not. All right. What else can we find? Something else in here? Because I think, where my instinct will go is like, I do like the 3. If you get the 3 and 3rd, you could just take the 2, 6, 10 in 1st and 2nd, and if the 3 just can beat one of them, he's got a nice inside post. That could be all right from a tribe perspective. And like you said, my instinct would be more to back up 3 in the exacta, but kind of go for the try or the super.
And I thought Aspen Dawn fits a little bit as well. She's 9-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a header as well.
But yeah, I mean, 2, 6, 7, 10. That's for a buck. That's $12 each spot the 3 is in.
Yeah.
Maybe not the worst thing.
Yeah, it's just that's a lot of good horses to jump, I mean, I shouldn't say jump.
Saying if he's in the win spot.
Yeah.
Right. No, you're...
Yeah, I would. I'm even leaning against the Exacta. I mean, the 3's got a couple good. Yeah, it's got some good races for sure, but it's got to run one of its better races. It also depends on what you think of the 10. I think the 10's probably sitting on a really good race here. No pace.
Certainly does.
Yeah, no pace at Tampa. Like I was just kind of saying about the Derby horses. So this is a horse that against the flow made a big close when he had like no pace to work with. Now it's second off a layoff, picks up Pratt, blinkers on. The only thing that not like about the 10 is the price. It's a little rough.
Yeah, a little lighter than I would have expected.
But I mean, the 3 could certainly outrun the 10. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, and 7's really got nice races as well.
Right.
All right. Anyone else?
No, not me. They're betting the 11 a little bit.
It's not unreasonable.
I mean, much longer layoff, further outside post. Better races, I guess, than the 6. It's taking a little more money, but this definitely feels like a let's see one to me.
Yeah. All right. So I've got the Brist stats up here. So for Christophe Clement, they'll probably have North American shippers. 13%. It's a far cry from 60.
Yeah, with the ROI is kind of gnarly, right?
The what?
The ROI is kind of gnarly, right?
Yeah, minus 55 cents. Is that minus 55% on Brist?
Must be. I got it pulled up here.
No, probably not.
Yeah, that's so minus 95 is basically negative 47.5% ROI.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 95 cents on the $2.
Right. Buck
$5. Gnarly. So you just posted in the chat. Brian was talking about the Bauer drawn in. I thought this 13 is pretty interesting. Maybe mostly from a pace perspective, but there's not a ton of pace in here. I mean, there's
Declan Cannon's he's a good rider. He's in my under bet bucket.
Yeah. I mean, the 9's shown some speed, but more marathons, never really been on the lead, right? So we've got this 13 coming out of a turf sprint or in dirt sprints. It's a fast horse. I could totally see them sending this thing. Question is, does that hold on or does it influence the pace at all?
I mean, I guess it can't not, but I don't know how long he's going to be. He's going to have a say.
No.
The 9 is cheap speed. If the 6 is fresh, I mean, I didn't go back and watch any of these races, but the running lines say the last 2 were in touch with leader. So read that as a presser. I mean, if Mystifine's ready, she's going to be forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with Candy Bar.
All right. Across the board, win.
Win, and then I'm gonna play with 2, 6, 7, 10.
Yeah, I like it.
That's the play.
Yeah, Brian Hernandez, he took off in that turf marathon earlier in the card.
Yeah, I like that horse. I mean, I guess he was. I mean, at the price, I guess I'll say, of course. I mean, I don't know what the plan was with that trip, but
Yeah.
I liked him. It didn't work out, but
Yeah, I mean, they were flying. In fact, there's probably some good bet backs out of that race as fast as they went. And it's crazy that pace got. All right, there's your candy bar.
looking good in red and white. Wow, fresh off giving us Gin. Malcolm really swinging here. Freak City.
There you go. Good name.
There he is. Rapoli-esque colors.
Looking good on the 6.
Yeah, he is looking good. 3, 6, 7.
Well, I mean, if the 7 gets in there, as much as they're playing the 2 and the 10, if you can get the 6, I mean, look at the prices on the 6, 7. Now those are looking pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all right. All right. Good cheer in the Oaks.
Yeah. What about?
I mean, anyone beat her?
I don't know. Has anyone really gotten close?
No, but she hasn't. There's definitely some in here I would say she has not faced that level yet.
Mm-hmm.
But undefeated and untested is a pretty strong argument.
Yeah.
Ten getting a nice warm up there.
The Clocker's pick. That's what it says.
Oh. Are you super high-fiving?
No. Never in. Well, I mean, I guess this race is kind of chalky potentially on top, but is there a carryover?
No, it was chalky yesterday. That 9-1, and
Yeah,
I don't even think it paid 1,000.
there's only 9,000 in the pool, so I mean, but like, if you wanted to get real aggressive with your 3, you could play it in 3rd, 4th, and 5th of the super high 5. But there are a lot of tosses in here.
Yeah, and the honest pace should come from some prices. So, which to me, if Mystifying runs the race we saw last time, that's in her favor because she should get first run. I mean, she was able to be assertive in that turf race. So it's just a matter of being ready and the layoff. But
I'm really worried about this 13 with Declan, or thinking about it, because I think they may just all out send with this 13, and
but then the 9 has to go too, right?
I mean, it's just not that fast. That last race was a mile and a half. The synthetic at mile and 3/16. It's sat 3rd the last 2 times it was on the turf at this distance.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess Jose on the 2 probably sits chilly, and he probably lets it run off. But
Right. Yeah, Timeform actually has the 2 ahead of the 13, but that's
it's hard to interpret all that stuff at different distances
right
and everything.
Well, I mean, I try to think too in terms of like how can you win this race? And like you said, I mean, Jose is going to have options. He's not going to lose ground. There's not so much speed that, he's not going to get shuffled back if he waits too long or shouldn't. So, like, he has options, whereas the 13 has to go. Like, if you're in this race to win, you're sending, right?
Yeah, but if they clear by 3, it looks to be a somewhat quality horse,
Yeah.
I'm going to use the 13 with the 3.
I mean, he's crazy overlooked at 55-1. So,
yeah. And I'm going to use the 13, in a lot of spots, just in case. All right, so loading in. Good luck, everybody, in the last here.
This is the swan song.
The swan song. All right, let's see. They're loading fast.
Yeah, well, the double load.
Oh yeah, the double load always gets everything rolling. All right, good luck, everybody.
All right.
Oh, I should probably switch the screen here. You can look at the final odds drops, and technically we're not supposed to show the races, so there you
go. Declan was not interested in the lead, apparently.
No.
I'm not sure I would have the 1 up there, though.
Well, the 1's flying. I guess they all want.
Obviously was discussed, but
yeah. So I don't know if I love the spot on the 2 and the 3. It's a fast pace.
Yeah, I mean, it's fast. If you're the 3, I mean, you're following who you think is the best horse, but at the same time, you're going to have to find a seam too. So, but
yeah, they're going.
Brian
okay,
looks comfortable for now.
Yeah, that's more reasonable. 47 and change.
I mean, Jose is definitely going to have to bully his way in one direction or another, I would say.
Yeah, and sooner or later to open up.
Ryan's getting impatient. He's tipping.
Is that the 3 in the red cap?
Yep.
Yep. So you got horse.
Oh, I got horse, Mark.
All right, you got horse. Now who's on the inside? There's the 2 and the 10. And there's bumpy.
Not enough horse, though. Oh, Brendan Wall. Oh, bad step. Still got there.
Yeah.
Who was second? It was 6 something 10.
6-2-10. 6-2-10-3.
Oh, the 2 was second.
Yeah.
Did you get the super?
Yeah, a couple bucks.
All right.
So it's a little something.
Yeah.
9-2. Wow, on that 38% move. So
Yeah. You talked me on him. Unfortunately, 3 just flattened out. Wasn't, I mean, really no excuse from there. But
I mean, he ran well. Those were better horses on paper, and he ran really well.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the winner, I mean, he probably ran a final 5/16 and 28 and change.
Whatever it was, he
Yeah, that was. Yeah, two off the layoff was, I mean, the winner was off a layoff too, but
Mm-hmm.
well, things were going well until they weren't.
Yeah, as can happen. I mean, that's the horse we should have gotten the double. Although I guess we didn't have the.
Yeah, would have needed.
Didn't have the Jin.
Would have needed some magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that there'll be any objections here.
Yeah, I think
It's kind of a turf race. Things got going late.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like a funny step maybe from the winner, but that wasn't because of. I mean, he won anyway, but she won. But
yeah,
didn't look like it was because of anything that happened in the race.
Yeah, a little hard to tell, but that was sort of my feeling as well. Well, Candy Bar, good call. 4th as the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th choice in the race. That might not pay much at all, though, with all the 50 to 1s in here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you got the 3rd choice on top at least, but 4th choice.
But it's a 12-horse field, but you've got 5 horses at 50 to 1.
Right. Yeah, so that's a 7-horse field.
Right.
Still the 4th choice, though.
Yeah, that helps a little bit. All right. And then tomorrow we got a couple of Preakness preps, if you will. The Tessio at Laurel and the Bathhouse Row.
That's right.
At Oaklawn. So those will be good. I think those will be good to watch because we've got the Preakness Future Wager coming up next week.
Yeah, starts on Saturday?
Friday.
All right. I actually really like a horse in the Tessio, Kentucky Outlaw.
Okay.
Number 5, who is 8 to 1 on the line, and I don't say it like that to disparage because we know it's a tough job, but I'd be shocked if he's 8 to 1. But I do think he'll be 4 to 1 or 9 to 2, so that's still a play based on my fair odds. And our play of the day at Laurel today, speed and fade from the outside in a turf sprint, but great to see him back on the lawn, and hopefully we make up for it with our play tomorrow. It's Kentucky Outlaw for sure. Shipping in from Parks, undefeated.
All right. Very good. And then we got a couple stakes at Keeneland tomorrow. We've got the Ben Ali,
Elkhorn and Ben Ali.
Ben Ali. Yeah, I mean, thought the Elkhorn was interesting. I liked Verstappen a little bit at 15-1.
Yeah, he's always seems to run his race and be a price.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so exciting times. Got Derby coming up. Hopefully I'm going to get out to Churchill tomorrow and watch some works because we got several Derby works in the morning.
Yeah, it's supposed to be busy. And for those that can't get out there, they're streaming the work show now, so that's fun. If you're up at 6:45 Eastern.
No, but I'll get there. I guess I got to get there by 7:15 for the works. That's when they start, right?
Yeah, so you'll be up at 6:45.
No, from my house I can actually get up and leave at 7 and be there at 7:15.
What are you telling us about your morning routine?
That early? I'll just go. Grab a cup of coffee and I'm going.
All right.
No, I'll probably be getting up just then. All right, what do we get here? Super, yeah, it's about right, $39. There, the 3. What did I say? Put the 3 in the super high 5.
That ended up being the play, 1,100. $82,000 carryover for.
Can't afford it
for tomorrow.
Yeah,
5 to 6 paid 6,800.
Wow. Yeah, that's solid.
Some good balloons.
Yeah, but yeah, I ended up hitting that super for I think it was $1.20, so I got about $400 out of it. So that was all right.
It's more than I pulled out of the race.
Wow, and that pick 3, 2,000.
Two days in a row, 15 plus.
Yeah,
1,500 plus. I mean,
yeah, it was very nice. Well, great. This was fun. Thanks everybody for joining us, and glad fun doing this again. And thanks to AmWager for sponsoring. And just like it says on the ticker below, if you don't have an account with AmWager, sign up. It's great. All its great tools, and you get a $150 bonus to check them out.
Who says no? We'll be back for closing day.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thanks, everyone.